Okay, while we've just showed you how to strip the calipers and get the pistons out. What I've done is I've completely cleaned the calipers now, and they're currently being repainted, and they're outside drying in the sun. What I've done with those is I've used a gold, the obligatory gold, I suppose you could call it. So what we'll do in the meantime is we'll show you how to replace these pins in this stator that remember we had these horrible nasties down here. So we'll get those out, and we should be able to, if I have a look here, where are we? Right, okay. We'll do these one at a time so that we don't get anything mixed up, which is nearly always the best way to go. Saves doing wiring diagrams and stuff like that, having to refer to those. So what we're going to do is I'll get rid of this bloody tape off here. Now, obviously these pins, they don't just pull out. So what you can use is, get a split pin. Yeah, just an ordinary split pin, open it up, and you might be able to see there's little cutouts just in here. And what you can do, that will take you down the back, will actually take you down the back edge of that, okay? And there's a little tang that stops it coming out. Yeah, you see the little tang on there? Just that little bit there? That actually stops it coming out the block. And this is what we're going to replace them with. Okay, so we'll just slide that pin down there, give it a little wiggle, yeah, just so it pushes that tang back, and then you should be able to just push the pin, that spade connection, straight out the back. So just go in there. Okay, there you go, it's out. Now I'm going to put that back in there just for now, so that I remember where it went. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll replace this connection on the end here on this yellow wire. So quite simply, we're just going to snip it off. Okay, we will strip out a new part. Okay, so we're getting back to decent wire, and then we're going to what they call tin this area. Okay, so we'll have a dip in the flux and we'll solder that. I'll get the soldering iron fired up. Okay, and what we're also going to do is we'll also put some solder on the inside. Oh crud, where's it gone? There it is. We'll also put some solder on the inside of this joint here, in there, so that when you put the two together, they'll be pretty good. Okay, so that's the soldering iron firing up nicely. Make sure the tip's nice and hot. Not quite there. Oh, there we go. Right, so let's get some solder onto this one down here. You can't see this, but I can. Let me give you a tilt down there a bit. This is not normally the way, this would normally be on the bench, but we'll do it here anyway. Okay, get that nice and hot, and then just, okay. And if you zoom in on your cameras, you may be able to see that that end is now tinned. Now, we're going to do this, and there's no way I'm holding this when I'm putting a hot soldering iron on it. So, I'm going to put the soldering iron just down there. I'm going to dip the end of this in flux. Okay, so we get a little bit on there. And I'll get my solder. And I'll just hold that with the pliers on the soldering iron. So as that gets nice and hot, solder's going to melt into that area where we want it. Okay, so there we go, we've now got solder in there. So now what we want to do is we want to solder this connection onto this wire. Okay, so put your connection on the end of the soldering iron, and as it starts to warm up, it'll melt that. Put your wire to it, and you'll see the two melt together. Okay, and there you go. All that ain't coming off, and there's your brand new connection. Now, what we also have to do is we have to crimp these. Okay, so with your crimping pliers, okay, we can go in different ways. Now then, which way are we going round here? Let's go through. We're going that one there. I need to close those up a little bit. Let me just close these up a little bit. We should get there. Oh, come on, you bugger. Okay, no, I'm not. Not as good as my other ones. However, that will do for now. And I'll just do something with those. Just to squash them down a bit. This is actually a new set of strippers and crimpers for me, so I'm not quite used to using those ones. Try and sort that out a bit. Okay, and hopefully that's a bit messy, but this should now quite nicely go back into the plug housing. Very messy, that connection, very messy. Let me just grab the other ones. Something with this connection here. It's very messy the way this is folded over. Not the usual standard. So so there you go. We've got the new connection on. Just push it back into the plug if you can. And as you push that in, you'll hear it click. And then it'll be good. It won't be going anywhere. And that's how you do a new one.